Can I keep my bonsai outdoors? Yes, most non-tropical species do well outdoors. Always check the care requirements for your specific species. If your tree is tropical, it will not survive the winter in most areas. You may have to bring it indoors or build a structure to protect it from the elements during the colder months. If you live in a warm climate, then you're lucky. You can probably leave your tree outside all year round. This is what we do with our Chinese elm bonsai. It's been outside in the elements for 3 years now and is doing great. But how do you know if your tree is a tropical or subtropical species? Well, that's easy. Just check the leaves. Do they fall off in the winter? If so, then it's most likely a tropical tree. Now, keeping your bonsai indoors can be tricky. They need bright light to survive, so you need to place them near a window. You also need to watch out for pests. Spider mites love hanging around on houseplants, and they're no exception when it comes to bonsai. Here are some other common pests you need to look out for. Also, you need to water your bonsai more often because they dry out faster when they're indoors. Make sure you use a well-draining soil mix so you don't end up killing your tree by overwatering. You can get a soil mix specifically made for bonsai, or you can make your own by mixing stuff like pumice, perlite, sand, and peat. A lot of people use a 50-50 mix of pumice and peat for their indoor bonsai trees. Another thing you should keep in mind is humidity. Most bonsai trees come from mountainous regions where there's a lot of humidity. If your house is really dry in the winter, you might need to mist your tree more often. You can also put your bonsai on a humidity tray to raise the humidity around it. The most important thing to remember when growing bonsai indoors is to rotate the pot every couple of weeks. That way your tree will grow towards the light source and stay nice and bushy. Oh, and don't forget to fertilize your bonsai when they re-indoors because they not getting any nutrients from the soil. Use a balanced fertilizer and water it in every couple of weeks during the growing season. In the winter, you can cut back on the fertilizer because your tree won't be growing as much. Okay, so now you know how to grow a bonsai indoors. Let's talk about the best location for placing your bonsai outside. A lot of people think that placing their bonsai in direct sunlight is the best option, but that's not always the case. A lot of bonsai trees like it when the sun's harsh rays are filtered through leaves or branches. This gives them dappled shade. Placing your bonsai in an area where it receives dappled shade will prevent the leaves from turning brown and crispy. Direct sunlight can also cause the soil to dry out too quickly, so you'll need to water your bonsai more often. Another reason why you shouldn't place your bonsai in direct sunlight is because it can cause the leaves to become smaller and the new growth to become stunted. This is called sun scorch. This is especially harmful to young bonsai trees. So if you have a young tree, you definitely don't want to place it in direct sunlight. The best location to place your bonsai outside is an area where it will receive morning sunlight and afternoon shade. That way, the tree will get enough sunlight to photosynthesize and produce food, but it won't be scorched by the afternoon sun. Placing your bonsai in a location where it will receive morning sunlight and afternoon shade will also prevent the soil from drying out too quickly. So you won't have to water your bonsai as often. A great place to put your bonsai would be next to a wall or fence that receives morning sunlight and is shaded in the afternoon. If you don't have an area that receives morning sun and afternoon shade, you can still grow a bonsai outside. Just make sure you take extra care of it. Water it more often and fertilize it regularly. If your bonsai starts to show signs of distress, like brown and crispy leaves, move it to a location that receives less direct sunlight. Now, if you live in a hot climate, it is a good idea to put your bonsai in a location that receives afternoon shade all year round. This will help prevent the soil from drying out and the leaves from becoming sun-scorched. One way to provide afternoon shade for your bonsai is to put up a shade sail. This is a great option if you live in a hot climate and do have a lot of trees around. Another option is to plant fast-growing trees or shrubs around your bonsai. This will help block the afternoon sun and provide shade for your bonsai. However, this is not a good option if you're growing a conifer bonsai. Conifers don't like it when their roots are in the shade. So if you have a conifer bonsai, you will need to make sure that it is the only tree in the area that is receiving direct sunlight. Here are some fast-growing trees and shrubs that you can plant around your bonsai to provide afternoon shade. Another thing you need to keep in mind when placing your bonsai outside is wind. Wind can be harmful to bonsai trees because it can dry out the soil and dehydrate the tree. It can also cause the leaves to become brittle and break off. If you live in an area where it gets windy, you'll need to protect your bonsai from the wind. One way to do this is to put up a windbreak. A windbreak is a barrier that blocks the wind. It can be made out of wood, metal, or plastic. Another option is to plant trees or shrubs around your bonsai to create a natural windbreak. This will also help block the wind and provide shade for your bonsai. Now here are some other things you should keep in mind when placing your bonsai outside. Avoid placing your bonsai near a busy street or in an area where it will receive a lot of pollution. This can damage the leaves and needles of your bonsai and make it difficult for it to grow. Try to place your bonsai in an area where it will receive natural rainfall. This will help water your bonsai and provide it with essential nutrients. However, if you live in an area where it doesn't rain much, you'll need to water your bonsai regularly. How often you need to water your bonsai will depend on the type of tree, the size of the pot, and the weather. Generally speaking, you'll need to water your bonsai when the top layer of soil is dry. Don't let the soil become completely dry though, or you'll risk killing your tree. Placing your bonsai in the right location outside is important, but it's just as important to protect your bonsai from pests and diseases. Here are some common pests and diseases that affect outdoor bonsai trees. To prevent pests and diseases from damaging your bonsai, you'll need to inspect your tree regularly. If you spot any problems early, you can treat them and prevent them from getting worse. One way to prevent pests and diseases is to keep your bonsai healthy. A healthy bonsai tree is more resistant to pests and diseases than a stressed out tree. To keep your bonsai healthy, make sure it's getting enough sunlight, water, and fertilizer. You should also avoid over-pruning your bonsai. Pruning encourages new growth, which makes your bonsai more attractive, but it also makes it more susceptible to pests and diseases. Another thing you can do to protect your bonsai from pests and diseases is to apply pesticide or fungicide. Pesticides kill insects and fungicides kill fungi. There are many different types of pesticides and fungicides available, so be sure to choose one that is safe for your bonsai tree. When applying pesticides or fungicides, always follow the instructions carefully. And if you're not comfortable doing this yourself, you can hire a professional. By taking these precautions, you can help ensure that your outdoor bonsai trees stay healthy and beautiful for years to come. So is it okay to keep my bonsai outdoors? Yes, but there are a few things you need to keep in mind. Just follow the tips in this video and your bonsai will thrive. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.